We need to have a conversation about cold marketing, cold prospecting, cold messaging, the do's and don'ts, the pros and cons. Should you even bother? Should you even bother reaching out to people? You don't have people banging down your door all day, every day. Even the best marketers in the world don't have people in their inbox every day saying, I want to join your network marketing downline. I want to buy products from you. And by the way, you might go viral. You might have a video pop off and then you have a bunch of leads, but you have to admit there are seasons where you're experiencing a lot of an influx of leads, your inbox is blowing up, and there's times where maybe that's not happening and you need to be more proactive. And the truth is, from a duplication standpoint, we certainly don't want to encourage our teams just to market, just to post and pray. We can all appreciate that. But let's really talk about cold messaging. Let's talk about cold prospecting. Should you do it? Does it work? And really, what we have to get clarity on, this is what Christina and I were talking about. And she's a beast, by the way, just for those of you that don't know, she's been a top earner, very successful, built incredible businesses. She's got multiple income streams, not multiple MLMs. So let's be clear, one network marketing direct sales business, but she's one of those individuals that's gone out and created success and has helped others do the same. The point is, we need to get some clarity on the definition of a cold message, cold prospecting. So Christina, obviously introduce yourself to everybody. And then maybe you could talk about what is your definition of cold prospecting, cold messaging, what your thoughts are.
Sure, John. Thank you so much. I'm so excited that we're having this conversation. My name is Christina Whiteley. I'm a 38-year-old mom who got into this industry about 6 years ago because I was working a job where the cost of living and the cost of doing business kept going up and up and up, and I was making less money, right? Does that sound familiar maybe to you? Because I know that this year it's going to cost an extra 9% for you to live exactly the same as it was last year. I saw that happening in my salon business and I was like, like this is not a viable business. I can't grow this business when this is working against me. I can't work more than 80 hours a week by myself. It's not going to work. So I decided to do something a little bit different. Now, here's the thing. I went to John a couple of days ago and I said, we got to have this conversation because all over social media, and by the way, I know that Facebook markets to me. Okay. So all over social media, I hear, don't cold message. Cold messaging is for the birds. Like, I actually saw a title on somebody's sponsored ad that was selling a program and it was called F Your Upline. And they were saying, don't cold message, don't cold message. And I'm just like, we need to get some clarity around this conversation because like I've built my business, not just once, but a couple of businesses to, 6 figures within a year from reaching out to people, from communicating and talking to people. It's what works. But I think people get so scared because, I don't want to send cold messages. I've got to put myself out there. I've got to put myself out where I may face judgment. I may face ridicule. I may face somebody else's, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed today, right? And I think that if you have a general idea of cold messaging, you might not have the right idea because there's a difference between, like you said, marketing and reaching out to people, right? There's a difference between that. And I remember Ray Higdon saying to me, unless you've got hundreds of messages showing up into your inbox every day because your marketing is so good, then you have to reach out to people. And the truth is, I had to be reached out to. I had to have somebody see something in me that said, hey, she could do this too. I had to feel good about something, right? It's all in your messaging. I believe a cold message is not somebody that's friends with you, follows you, you've never connected with them before, right? So a cold message is sending somebody a message that they have no idea who you are, and you're asking them to buy something from you or join your team.
And it's funny too, because there's probably people that do that and it works, but I'm not a fan of sending messages to people I don't know with a pitch, with approaching them. But that does not mean, now see, this is where people get it twisted. You just said it. Right. Sending messages to people that know you exist, that do follow you, that are friends with you, and asking them if they're open, letting them know you're doing something new, letting them know you're doing something you're excited about, assuming that not everybody sees your posts, even if they see your posts. Do you think they just know what you're doing? You know how many times I've reached out to someone and they told me that they were curious about the products. They were curious about the opportunity, especially in the first couple years when I was launching my business. Now I've been with the same company for almost 7 years. It's a little different, right? You and I have been working together for years. It's a little bit different, but still you and I are proactively creating conversations, building new relationships every day. And the easiest people to pop the question, whether that's product or business. And we can talk a little bit about language, but it's people that know you exist. They're already friends with you. They're already following you. What is the point of building a following if you're scared, which is what it is, you're too scared to reach out to them and build a little bit of a connection, build a relationship, pop the question, ask them if they're open to a product, ask them if they're open to doing a referral post, ask them if they're open to taking a look at a 12-minute video that can change their life. You are living in fear and you're worried about judgment. And listen, by the way, that's common. I don't like being rejected. I don't like when someone says no. You know, we used to do in-person meetings. We used to always tell everybody, look at your neighbor and say no. And everybody's like, no. You know, did anyone die? Y'all all right? Any injuries? We need to call 911? No, everybody was fine. They all survived every single time we did that. So the truth is, I think a lot of people believe a cold message is messaging someone that they're already connected with and asking them if they're open. That is not a cold message. Do they know you exist? Yeah. Then why are you being selfish? Why aren't you sharing the opportunity with them? They're not seeing all your posts and all your videos. And again, even if they are, they might be scared to reach out to you and ask you what you're doing. So there's a plethora of reasons why somebody doesn't ask you. Maybe they didn't see it. Maybe they don't understand it. Maybe you need to be proactive. And the only thing that, you know, kind of what you mentioned with the advertising, the only time you'll hear someone telling you that cold messaging doesn't work, you know, I think they're typically referring to messaging people that you don't know. That is not something I agree with. Now, let me be clear. I do message people I don't know, but it's to build a relationship. It's to connect. It's not, I don't go straight for the jugular on the first on the first message. Maybe after we have a little back and forth conversation, build up the rapport. That, again, that's different. Now, I would like you to talk about this approach, Christina, because again, listen, and let's be clear, what works for me and what works for Christina doesn't necessarily have to work for you. You have to figure out what works best for you. I don't care. This is my opinion. I don't care if someone is warm market, cold market, leading with product, leading with business, online, offline. I don't really care. But if it's not working for you with what you're doing, sitting back, twiddling your thumbs, waiting for people to reach out to you, then maybe you need to take a more proactive approach. So Christina, could you talk about some of the strategies and conversations, because you said it's all about the approach, all about the language. Yep. Can you maybe share some of what's worked for you in approaching people?
Every conversation you have is an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to learn. Now, here's the thing. If you are not showing up on social media consistently every day, I believe that your profile, your little bio, that is your business card. Okay. So when people go to your Facebook page, they're going to say, this is what she's about. Your content is your resume. So if you are not showing up every day or not showing that you're open for business or that you're even remotely involved in business or that you're excited about your product or your service or whatever you're doing, right? Then why would anybody trust you? If you're not proud of what you're doing, why would anybody else join you? Right? Like that doesn't make sense. Why would anybody do that if you're showing cat videos on your Facebook page, but you're not actually showing any value in business? I mean, maybe to the people that love cats, you're showing a lot of value, right? And humor, but how are you going to show up for people that they're like, hey, this girl or this guy, they have something going on that I might want to be a part of, right? So that's number one. Number two, it's having conversations that are unique to you, right? We all get scripts. We see scripts everywhere. I'm a huge fan of skipping the scripts, okay? And talk to people like they're human beings, right? If somebody follows me, they're going to get a message and I'm going to say, hey, thank you so much for following me. Did you follow me because you saw a reel? Did you follow me because you were inspired and you're building something? Are you looking to build something and you want to talk about what I do? Or are you just here for a good time and I'd love to connect and see if we can collaborate, right? Like how can anybody be upset about that?
And right? the smart thing that you're doing is you're reaching out to followers, right? This is something we've been teaching for years because what we noticed, a lot of people that we would follow would never reach out to us. And still today, I think that's pretty common that we get a follower, we get attention, but then we're not proactive in connecting and building that relationship. And, the truth is, and look, let's all be honest. How many of you have over 100 Facebook friends? How many of you have over 1,000 Facebook friends? How about over 5,000 friends/followers on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, these different accounts, these different social mediums? We all have plenty of people that we can reach out to. We have plenty of people we can connect with. And I said it in the beginning, and I'll reiterate, what is the point of building a following if you're not willing to reach out to the ones that are already following you, that are already connected to you? There are some amazing people in your existing network. and you have a miracle in your mouth. You have the opportunity of a lifetime. You're building an empire. You're building something that, a lot of people need right now. A lot of people need another income stream. A lot of people are scared. Recession conversation, inflation conversations, high gas prices. Like, I can't think of a better time to start another income stream. But with that being said, people are going to do business with people they know, like, and trust. So while you're building new relationships and meeting new people, you need to reach out to the ones you're already connected with. And by the time you get through your 1,000 Facebook friends or 500 followers or whatever that is, you should have a whole new 500 follower list, a whole new 1,000 friend list that you're now able to tap into. And that's why we talk about longevity and building long-term and building relationships. It's not even network marketing as much as it is relationship marketing. And the truth of the matter is, if you're talking to your existing network of people and proactively reaching out saying, hey, I'm doing something new, something I'm excited about. Here's why I'm excited, because people relate to people. People relate to why you're doing it, not what you're doing, but why you're doing it. Tell people why you're doing it. People relate to people and say, I'm doing something new, something I'm excited about. Here's why I'm excited. If you're open, I would love to share some information. If not, no big deal. But those are people that already know you exist. While you're adding on new friends, you're connecting with new followers. This is what we're doing all the time. We're adding people into our funnel. We're adding people to our list. We're adding people, to our network. We're building the relationships, building up our community. And then on the back end, you're connecting, you're popping that question. So, and I love this conversation because it really is like what sets apart a zero and a hero, the average with the savage. Like, when you look at the top people, I can tell you in every single company. Now, maybe not if somebody's an influencer and they just left their company to join a new company and they brought their team. Outside of those scenarios, most of us became top people, top producers, top performers because we were proactive in our conversations, our relationship building, money-making activities, connecting with people. We were very proactive in that stuff. You look at my business today, 99% of the people in my business right now, I did not know them in 2015. I did not know them, and they didn't know me in 2015, just 7 years ago. So even if your whole market sucks, you can build a new market. So, Christina, what are your thoughts on that for people that are like, okay, I need to do this? What are your thoughts on how they should start getting the ball rolling?
Have a long-term vision, right? Like, first start with having a long-term vision, right? Like, I've been in the business long enough to know that people will come around when they're ready. When you push them, right? You want to know how to get ghosted the fastest is by pushing people or by following up with them and saying, you ready to buy my stuff? We got a sale. You ready to buy my stuff? You ready to join my team? How about now? Right? Saw you're suffering in your life. Maybe you should join my team and make some money. That is like the fastest way to get blocked and ghosted in your whole life. Now, here's the thing. Amateurs tell different stories to the same people. So they don't grow their network. They talk to the same 100, 500,000 people over and over and over again. Pros clarify, they come up with their story, what they bring to the game, their brand, right? And they talk to thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people over their career, because we know not everybody wants this. We know not everybody is cut out for this. We know that we're just searching for people that are like-minded, that are like, I get what you've got. I see the value in that. I want that too, right? And so if you quit, you lose. Like, it's my biggest heartbreak to see people come into the business and like ask a few people, get shut down by their friends and family, who usually are the first people to shut you down, being like, what the hell are you doing? Right. And then they get the wind out of their sails and they don't keep moving forward. And they don't, same thing with inviting, like when you share a business, you share a video with somebody, they'll invite a few people to watch the video, and then, oh, nobody watched the video and nobody will answer. And then, oh, it doesn't work. It does. No, it is a numbers game. And how you show up, your intention to that conversation. John said something really important. People need this business. We see as a community, we need this right now. Go have that conversation with people, right? Go say, hey, I want to be able to help you because I know 53% of Canadians are $200 away from not being able to pay their bills. I know 61% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. When I would say, hey, look, your job, you've had a hell of a time for the last 2 years. Maybe you've lost your job, you've lost your hours, whatever. I'm not going to tell you about what's going on over here that's just made our life so much easier and so much more fun. I'm just going to leave you in the background. That's the perspective that you need to realize other people need. The person that first invited me to this business, even though I do not speak to them anymore, I am so damn grateful. I'm so damn grateful that they saw something in me that they thought, oh, she could do this too, because I certainly didn't. I certainly thought I didn't have the experience, the skill set, the education. But if she thinks I can do this, and if she can do it, why can't I do it? Why can't I live like that? And so we've got to remember that when you're reaching out to people, that's what's on the other side. Have a human conversation about what the heck is going on in the world, and then say, hey, I don't know if this will be of any interest to you. It probably isn't, right? You're probably not the right person for this. You know what? When you say that to somebody, all of a sudden their guard goes down. They're like, oh, okay, she's not going to try and pitch me
They're
something.
like, wait, what? What?
Yeah.
I am the right person. But
are you
what
sure?
do I got to do? What do I got to do to prove it to you? You're like, well, let me see. Pull some strings.
Right. And so it's learning how to have those conversations. You know what I love about our business is that it's not either you're good at it or you're not. Everybody has equal opportunity. Everybody has equal opportunity to learn the skill set, to transition the skills they already have into this new gig world where they can build wealth and do it and leverage their time. And they get the opportunity that maybe they didn't get when they were growing up. I wish somebody had told me this was an opportunity when I was 19. I wish somebody had brought, you were younger when you got into this industry.
Yeah, 20.
I didn't until my 30s. And I was like, what in the world have I been doing my whole life? Right? So it's really framing your mindset around that and having a different conversation with people and not being scared to have that conversation, because even if it doesn't work out, I can tell you all the amazing human beings I've met that maybe they're not on my team, but man, they brought some joy, some wealth to my life, some knowledge, some wisdom. Like, life is too short not to put yourself out there because you're scared of being judged. You're scared of somebody waking up on the wrong side of the bed and saying something to you that really, by the way, doesn't matter, because you can turn off your phone, you can block them, you can do whatever you want.
That's right.
Right?
And, I can't tell you how many people over the years that I've met, that I've connected with, that, they wish they would have got in earlier. They wish they would have been, told about this profession at a younger age. And I'm just so grateful that my friend wasn't a secret agent. You need to step up your game, because if my friend and the person that introduced you as well, if they didn't introduce you, you wouldn't be in this profession. And it sucks that someone didn't introduce you, like you said, sooner. Better late than never. But, the truth is, there's a lot of people out there that would be open. They just don't know about it. Nobody's approached them because everyone's living in fear of judgment. What are people going to think about me? I'm just so glad my buddy, Mike Callahan, right, who I am actually still friends with, he's not in the profession anymore, although he probably wishes he's still over me. I'm sure he still wishes he was somewhere in the upline. But he got me to a meeting in 2001. He was the one that brought me to that meeting in 2001. And if he would have been a secret agent, or he would have prejudged me and said, John's got a tongue ring and earrings, he's a punk, drunk loser, I'm not going to approach him. No, he was like, hey, yeah, I guess John Melton, I mean, you never know. Every dud knows a stud. And then I ended up obviously not just getting started, but doing pretty good. And, the thing for me in the early days is I was a very social person. I was like a party animal. Like, I knew everybody. Like, I was a body dragger. I'd get people to the meeting, and it was amazing. Like, the people I thought wouldn't, the people I thought couldn't, the people I thought couldn't did, right? It was just like, you just have no idea. And here's the thing. Some will, some won't, some wait. So what? Some watch, some are watching. They're like Santa Claus. They're always watching. So what next? But here's the truth. A lot of the people that we connect with, we plant that seed. It's just the beginning. No is just the beginning. It's not the end. Yeah. It's just, no, not yet. No, I'm not ready. No, the timing isn't good. No, I don't trust you. No, I just met you. No, I'm going to sit back and see how you do first. And like you said, the timing might be better later on, but not if you're not playing the long game. Not if you give up and you quit 2 years from now, 5 years from now. You're not in it to win it long term, because the truth is, people are joining our companies every day. People are buying our products every day. It's just, are they joining your team or somebody else's? And I almost, what I did in those early days, and maybe this was just that ignorance on fire conversation, but in those early days, I was so afraid not to talk to the people I knew and not get to them first, because I kept thinking like, oh my gosh, what if this person joins or that person joins, or they get started and like they're on someone else's team? Like, I'd be at the event clapping and crying. Right? Like, I'm so happy for Sarah. I'm so happy for Tim. I'm so happy for but like, really, I'm like so upset that like they're not on my team. So I created this FOMO, this like game in my mind where I'm like, I don't care if they say yes, no, maybe so. Just tell me quick, because I gotta go. Like, in the mortgage industry, it was, if you want to earn 6 figures, you make 100 outbound calls a day. And I just listened to them. I just believed them. So I made 100 calls a day. And these weren't like total cold calls because they had actually at some point talked to one of our telemarketers. They'd actually spoke with someone at some point, but still there was a lot of people that didn't answer. Go figure. I left voicemails. There was a lot of people that hung up on me. It is what it is. And eventually you get this like thick skin. You just don't care. You literally detach the emotion, you detach the outcome, and you just focus on marrying the process, divorcing the result. And eventually I became the number one loan officer in a very large mortgage company in Baltimore, not because I was better, smarter. I'm over the phone talking to people. They can't even see me. It was because I made more phone calls. I planted more seeds. I had more conversations than everybody else in that office. And I created consistent results. This is something that I've been talking about a lot recently where people are like, oh, it's summertime, it's slow. All I know is when I was in the mortgage industry, it didn't matter if the rates were up or down, didn't matter if it was a good time or a bad time. I still showed up every day because it was my job. It didn't matter if I was in a good mood. It didn't matter if the rates were low or it didn't matter what was going on. That was my job. I showed up for work, whether or not it was a good time or a bad time, slow business, busy season, holiday season, summertime, didn't matter. And that's how a professional thinks.
I was the person that said no for 2 years. I said no, I said no, I said no, I said no. Why? I didn't have the skills. Why? I didn't think I had the time. Why? I didn't know what I was saying no to. So have clarity in your message. Have clarity when you put your post out there or you do a live video. Have clarity in who you are and why you want this and who you're taking with you. Right? Who are the people out there that need this? They need to come with you. They need to do something like this. And they're like, you know what? I'm willing to do that because at the point in my life when I said yes, it's because I hit rock bottom. It's because I had a shoulder injury. I could no longer continue doing what I was doing. I had to find another way to provide for my family. And Lord knows I wasn't going to ask my husband for money. So I had to do something different. My life would not change if I didn't do something different. And so I have that conversation with people. If they're like, oh man, I'd love to do that, but I don't have the money, or I'd love to do that, but I don't have the skills. I'm like, hey, look, I've been there. I've been the person. I've literally, guys, like I know I hate remembering this, but I was the person that put $2 worth of gas in my car to get to and from work because I didn't have any money. I was in debt. My credit cards were maxed out. What do you think is happening to people right now? And so I was like, I was so scared that I'd ever put myself or my family in that position that I was willing to do what was necessary to succeed. I will do this until I'm good. I will do. And sometimes I'm like, oh man, I wish this was going faster. I wish I was meeting other people, right? It's all part of the journey. And every single conversation you have is practice. It's learning what you can say and what you can't say, or what's going to have somebody ghosting you versus actually getting in and starting to learn about you and trust you. And hey, maybe I'm kind of like them too, right? Maybe I could do that too. That's your only job, is to get somebody to see in you what they see in themselves. That's it.
It is funny, man. You learned lessons along the way. So in the beginning, you might not do a lot of earning, but you are doing a lot of learning. Eventually you get to remove the L and you figure out what works and you figure out what conversations get mostly positive responses. And maybe you could share too, because I know you have, like, how many people are you proactively messaging per day, like sending that message that you send to your followers? And how have you outsourced it? Maybe you could talk, this is like a little bit advanced, but it's a good conversation so that people understand like what it looks like long term at your level, because again, you don't need to at this point, you don't need to reach out to people, but it still makes a ton of sense. And maybe you could talk about that.
Sure. So first of all, I love being in the trenches. I think that it's important as a leader to be somebody that is building alongside your team. I don't expect anybody to do something that I'm not willing to do. And I also think you learn in the process, like, because our audience, the people out there, is changing every 6 to 8 weeks, like what they need, what they want. The world is changing so quickly. So you have to learn how to adapt your conversations. And in the beginning, like, I was that person sending out 50 to 100 messages a day. Now they weren't the right messages. But I still created the income. Even though they weren't the right messages, I just had to talk to 250 people instead of talking to 50, right? So So you learn, if you're sending 250 messages and maybe 5 people are like, maybe in a week, and you get 5 people back, you may have to tweak your message a little bit and try something different, right? So I put out 60 messages a day. And I used to do that personally, and that used to take so much time. I'm going to tell you why it took so much time. It's because I was busy prejudging the people I was sending messages to. Okay. So instead of it taking an hour or an hour and a half, right, which is not a ton of time to spend on a business that is quite large, right? It's not that much time. I think I work 3 hours a day. I was doing the work myself until I could hire somebody to help me do those things. And you know what I noticed? All of a sudden, they were having conversations with people that I never would have reached out to. And those people wanted to talk to me. And so what's really nice now is that I've hired a team that does that for me, reaches out for me with my message that I've crafted that sounds good to me, that feels good. By the way, never send a message that doesn't feel good to you. Okay. I don't, not the fear or the judgment piece of it, but like if it doesn't sound like you and you're like, this sounds spammy or this feels gross to send, do not do it. Change the message to who you are, right? But I reach out to those people through a team now, and now I get to just deal with pre-qualified leads. So out of those 60 messages, I'm probably getting 10 back that want more information or want to have a conversation, and 5 that are like, no. And I'm like, okay, so why no? Maybe it's not the timing, maybe, and that plants the seed. I tell my team, and I'm kind of glad that this came up. When you're asking people, it is never a waste of time. Number one, when you send that message, even if they don't respond, they're going to start seeing your posts in their newsfeed. Did you know that? Right? When you start connecting with them, maybe you comment on, they're going to start seeing who you are. They don't usually see that. If they respond no, that's okay. If there's somebody that you want to work with, then you continue to build that relationship, because as time goes on, people become more open. Their lives change every 3 to 6 months. And so whether they change spiritually, financially, physically, maybe a parent gets sick, maybe a child gets sick, maybe life changes and they lose their job. Their life is changing consistently. So, and that's the only thing that is consistent in life is change, right? So if you like somebody and you see potential and you want to work with them, even if they say no, I'm going to build a relationship with that person. And here is the kicker: help people without expecting anything in return.
I want to just mention this. I love that you also mentioned, like, really what you're doing is building a brand. You're building relationships. When you're reaching out to people, you're not just coming at them with one option. I love that. And I don't know how many of you heard what she's saying to people, but basically she's reaching out to these followers and saying, are you looking for this, this, or this? So it's giving people options. So it doesn't seem like all you're trying to do is come at people with your commission breath or your own agenda, and you're making it about them. Like, hey, you follow me for encouragement? Do you have your own business, or are you looking for one? Are you looking for another income stream? It's just like, hey, let me know. Either way is all good. Doesn't matter either way. And those are not cold messages, because again, these are people that already know she exists. So for some of you, you're going to say, well, I don't have a following like that. Great. That's why we talk about attraction marketing and building a brand and putting out content. You'll get better at communicating over time. But at the end of the day, these conversations, these connections, these seeds you're planting are just the beginning of long-term relationships, people that may or may not ever buy from you or ever join you. But hey, like I said, they might refer you some people. You just need to make sure they know what you do. You need to be very bold in your proactive relationship building conversations, popping the question, seeing if they're open to the products, the business, referral posts, etc. And if you're not, just know this is why you're struggling. This is why you're not where you want to be. Christina said it, like, she figured out her messaging through reaching out to 200 plus people a day. You get a lot of clarity after that many messages on what's working, what's not working, and you can fine tune over time. But the worst thing you could do is get analysis paralysis. Sit back, waiting for people to come to you, making excuses versus making money.